The world you live in is not merely what you see, it's what you believe. There's a silent power shaping your life, moment by moment. It's not out there, it's in here, within you. What you think, what you feel, and what you unconsciously accept as truth carries more weight than the visible world around you. Your beliefs are not passive, they're architects. And the life you're living right now, the relationships, the opportunities, the struggles that seem to repeat themselves, it's all unfolding in response to the inner script you may not even know you're following. Reality, as you know it, is not a fixed landscape. It's a mirror. It doesn't just reflect what's happening. It reflects who you are being in the unseen. And the part of you responsible for this quiet creation is not your conscious thoughts, but your subconscious mind, a force so powerful it can build or dismantle entire life paths without ever asking for your permission. But here's the truth. You can learn to work with it. You can step into alignment with the life you dream of, not by chasing it, not by forcing outcomes, but by tuning your inner world to match the frequency of what you desire. The life you seek doesn't need to be created. It already exists in potential. It is waiting patiently for you to become someone who believes it's possible. And that transformation doesn't begin with external action. It begins in stillness. The first step is not to fix, hustle, or control. The first step is to shift your relationship with your inner world, to observe what you've been calling truth, and ask if it's truly yours. Every thought you energize with emotion becomes a signal, a magnetic broadcast to the universe. You are always attracting, not with your desires, but with your deep-seated beliefs. Even now, you might be wondering, if I could tap into this power, what would be possible for me? The answer isn't hidden in the stars or locked away in ancient texts. The answer is here, now, in the quality of your awareness. Because what you believe, consciously or not, becomes the blueprint for what shows up in your reality. The subconscious mind isn't just a storage house for memories and past experiences. It's the silent engine steering your daily decisions, shaping your emotional responses, and ultimately constructing the world you walk through. And the most fascinating part? Most people have no idea it's happening. They believe they're choosing freely, when in fact, they're acting out inherited scripts they never questioned. But once you become aware of this hidden mechanism, everything begins to shift. In his classic work, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Joseph Murphy wrote, "Whatever your conscious mind assumes and believes to be true, your subconscious mind will accept and bring to pass." And that's not just a poetic statement. It's a principle that quietly governs the very structure of your lived experience. The conscious mind can doubt, question, analyze, but the subconscious doesn't argue. It simply receives, accepts, and begins creating. The moment a belief, any belief, is impressed deeply enough, your subconscious gets to work, silently aligning your external life to reflect that inner certainty. It doesn't judge whether the belief serves you. It doesn't ask if it's empowering or limiting. It simply obeys the frequency it's been given. This is why some people seem trapped in repeating patterns. No matter how many strategies they change, no matter how much they try, the same kind of relationship falls apart, the same financial ceiling hits, the same fears return. It's not that they're cursed, it's that their subconscious blueprint has not been rewritten. But here's the empowering part. Just as limiting beliefs were installed, sometimes in childhood, sometimes through pain or repetition, they can also be reprogrammed. And that is where the real transformation begins. The outer world you experience is nothing more than a mirror, a vivid reflection of what's already been accepted on the inside. You can fight your circumstances all day long, but if the inner script hasn't changed, neither will the outcome. The battle isn't out there, it's in here. This is the great paradox of self-mastery. Freedom begins not by controlling more, but by becoming more aware. The moment you realize that your beliefs shape your reality, you reclaim your authorship. So the question arises, How do we break the loop? How do we disrupt the automatic programs, the thoughts, the stories, the quiet expectations that are running in the background of our lives? The answer is both simple and profound. Conscious observation. We're not talking about controlling your thoughts or forcing your mind to be positive. That only creates tension. Instead, we're pointing to a deeper practice, becoming the witness, to observe without judgment, to notice your thoughts and emotions without becoming them. Most of us spend our lives being swept away by mental chatter, especially the dark, heavy loops. We identify with them, believe them, react to them. But when you step back and watch with presence, something radical happens. You begin to see. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And in that awareness, a new power emerges. The power to choose how much attention, how much energy you give to each thought. Heavy thoughts still come. Old beliefs still echo. But if you don't grab them, if you don't feed them, they pass, like clouds across the sky. This is conscious observation, a silent invitation to be fully present without being consumed. You don't need to react. You don't need to fix. You simply stay with what is and let it move through you. And as you do, the subconscious begins to clear itself, not by force, but by space. The patterns begin to loosen. The grip of old programming softens, and in its place, peace rises. Not the kind of peace that's earned or fought for, but the kind that was always there beneath the noise. Noticing a thought without judgment might seem like a small gesture, but it marks the beginning of something profound, true freedom. That freedom creates an inner spaciousness, a pause between stimulus and response, and in that space, transformation quietly unfolds. When you stop feeding a thought with your energy, you stop reinforcing the old narrative. The mind begins to clear, not through force or resistance, but through your simple presence. Over time, this pause becomes a sanctuary where old patterns naturally dissolve, not because you fought them, but because you no longer participate in them. Through conscious observation, thoughts and emotions that once seemed to control you become objects you can see, and if you can see them, you're no longer under their control. They might still arise, but they lose their grip because you've stopped reacting. This isn't suppression or avoidance. It's awareness in its purest form. It's a quiet refusal to be pulled into the past or thrown into the future. When you let go of reactivity, you begin to experience a deeper stillness, one that has always been available beneath the surface noise. As this practice deepens, life begins to feel more fluid, more aligned. The inner conflict that once felt constant starts to fade. The obstacles that seemed immovable lose their intensity. The mind, once a battlefield of old thoughts and conditioned patterns, becomes more spacious, more present. Most of the patterns you fight were never really you. They were simply unconscious responses repeating themselves. But what happens when you stop responding the same way? Reaction is automatic. It's a reflex shaped by past beliefs and emotional conditioning. When you react to a painful thought or emotion, you actually give it more power, reinforcing the very belief that caused it. But when you choose not to react, when you step back and observe with clarity, you begin to undo that conditioning. Over time, those thoughts and emotions lose their ability to define you. This non-reaction isn't passive. It's a powerful inner choice. It gives the mind room to purify itself. Old beliefs lose energy. You're no longer attached to what arises. You're not avoiding. You're simply free. And as your mind becomes less clouded by outdated thoughts, you reclaim it as a tool to shape a new reality. One that reflects your true potential, not your past limitations. When we speak of the power of the mind, we often think of its ability to shape reality, to transform thought into experience. But that transformation doesn't occur like magic. It doesn't happen with one wish, one affirmation, or one moment of desire. It happens gradually, like light slowly filling a dark room. It unfolds through a continuous alignment between the conscious mind and the vision we hold deep in the subconscious. What most people overlook is that creating a new reality is directly tied to reprogramming the subconscious mind, and this is where autosuggestion enters the picture. For decades, thinkers like Joseph Murphy have emphasized the importance of this subtle but powerful tool. Autosuggestion isn't simply about repeating nice-sounding words. It's the deliberate, emotional imprinting of a new idea, one that aligns with the reality you want to experience. It's not mechanical. It's intentional. It's the act of planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious, nurturing it with repetition, emotion, and belief, until it becomes the new internal truth from which your life begins to grow. You see, the subconscious mind is like a sponge. It absorbs whatever you accept as real, whether or not it serves you. The stories you tell yourself again and again, especially those charged with strong emotion, are the very narratives your subconscious takes as fact. And once it accepts them as true, it begins crafting your external life to match that internal belief. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "nothing ever works out for me," you're unknowingly giving your subconscious instructions to create situations that validate that narrative. But imagine the opposite. What if you fed your mind daily with new, empowered ideas, like, "I am fully capable of achieving what I desire," or "My life is constantly expanding with abundance and purpose"? With enough repetition and sincerity, those suggestions begin to take root. They don't just stay in the mind. They become the lens through which you see the world, and eventually, the world mirrors them back to you. That's when true alignment begins, when the reality you see with your eyes starts matching the vision you've been cultivating within. Autosuggestion, practiced consistently, creates an environment in which your brain begins to respond, behave, and act in accordance with this new inner truth. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's real and what is repeatedly affirmed. It simply follows the most persistent input it receives. And over time, this isn't just an internal shift. It becomes visible, tangible. The people you attract change. The opportunities that appear begin to match your elevated beliefs. What you once thought was out of reach becomes natural, even inevitable. But maybe you're wondering, how do I bring this into my daily life? What does this actually look like? Truth is, it doesn't require a special talent or spiritual background. It doesn't demand hours of meditation or complicated techniques. It begins with a simple change in how you relate to your own thoughts and habits. It starts with a quiet commitment to engage your mind differently. And the power lies in consistency, not complexity. The practice of observing without reacting, paired with intentional autosuggestion, becomes a kind of inner training. You're no longer letting your inner world run wild. Instead, you're becoming the conscious architect of what gets planted and what gets nurtured. That's the beginning of conscious creation. In the next part, I'll walk you through a simple, step-by-step process that you can integrate into your daily routine. Something tangible and grounded, so you can take this inner awareness and actually live it. Because the real transformation happens not just in knowing, but in doing. Step 1. Develop awareness of what's happening inside. The human mind is often distracted, wandering into the past or worrying about the future. But awareness begins when you simply start paying attention to what arises within you. The goal isn't to stop thinking or suppress your emotions. It's to take one conscious step back and observe your inner activity, without letting it control your actions. The key is to create space between the trigger and your reaction. Start small. In ordinary moments, while sipping your coffee, walking, or sitting in silence, ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling? Where is this thought coming from? The point is not to fix anything. Just notice. Stay neutral. Let awareness become your foundation. Step 2. Identify limiting beliefs. Now that you're aware, begin to notice the recurring thoughts that subtly shape your world. These beliefs can be obvious or incredibly subtle, but your task is the same. Recognize them without judgment. Maybe it's a quiet voice saying, "This isn't possible for me," or "I'll never succeed." When you hear a thought like this, don't fight it. Don't react. Simply observe. By seeing it without believing it, you begin to break its grip. This act of conscious observation weakens the loop. You start to see that these beliefs are not who you are. They're patterns installed long ago. And once you shine light on them, they begin to lose power. You shift from being the thought to being the one who sees the thought. This is the first step toward real change, the realization that you are not your thoughts. You are the creator of your internal world. Step 3. Reprogram. This is where autosuggestion becomes active. Once you've observed your limiting beliefs, you can begin to replace them with new, empowering ones. Truths that align with the reality you want to create. For example, if the thought arises, "I'm not good enough," counter it with a new affirmation like, "I am fully capable of achieving anything I desire because I am worthy of success." Repeat this new belief not like a script, but with presence. Feel its truth as you speak it. Believe it emotionally, not just mentally. Autosuggestion works not because of repetition alone, but because of repetition infused with emotion and faith. When practiced consistently, this process rewires your mind. The subconscious begins to internalize the new truth, acting on it, and gradually reshaping your behavior, your emotional responses, and your perception of the world. But here's the most important part. This is not a one-time ritual. It's a daily practice. Throughout your day, you'll notice moments when the old patterns try to re-emerge. That's your window. In that moment, pause, observe, and consciously install a new belief. Over time, these micro shifts become macro transformation. You'll find the old thoughts arising less frequently, and when they do, they no longer carry the same weight. They fade, they dissolve, and in their place, a new way of thinking, feeling, and living emerges, one that's aligned with your highest desires and your deepest truth. To make this practice truly effective, create intentional moments throughout your day to reconnect with your inner programming. These don't have to be long rituals, just quiet, conscious pauses. When you wake up, before you fall asleep, or even during a walk or a meal, take a few moments to repeat the affirmations and beliefs you wish to anchor in your subconscious. These windows of presence become sacred opportunities to plant new seeds of reality. This process is simple, but don't mistake simplicity for weakness. The most profound changes often begin with the smallest shifts. As your mindset evolves, your behavior and perception begin to shift naturally. And when that inner shift happens, the external world starts to reflect it back. Suddenly, new opportunities arise. Different people cross your path. The reality you once thought was out of reach becomes part of your lived experience, not because the world changed first, but because you did. When you begin to see yourself as someone who attracts abundance, fulfillment, and growth, the world can't help but mirror that belief. What once seemed far away or impossible becomes tangible because your subconscious has aligned with a new vision. It's no longer working against you. It's working with you. The world around you is always listening, always responding, and it responds not to what you want, but to what you deeply believe is possible. So let this be your reminder. Transformation doesn't start in the outer world. It starts within. When your thoughts and actions harmonize with your deepest truth, reality begins to shift. The connection between the inner and outer world is not a metaphor. It's the key. And when you change your deepest beliefs, You don't just change your thoughts, you change your world. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to support this space. Click like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts, reflections, or your own journey. Your story might inspire someone else. Thank you, truly, for spending this time with me. Until next time, stay present, stay grounded, and take care of your inner world. See you soon.